Mei Lin stood outside the imposing glass tower, her heart hammering against her ribs. The building seemed to stretch endlessly toward the sky, a monument to wealth and power that made her feel impossibly small. She clutched her worn leather purse tightly, the envelope inside containing every penny she had saved over the past 3 years. It wasn't enough, not nearly enough to cover her father's debt, but it was all she had. 3 years ago, her father's small restaurant had fallen on hard times. In desperation, he had taken a loan from Zhao Enterprises, a decision that haunted their family when he suffered a stroke 6 months later. Now bedridden and unable to speak clearly, her father's medical bills had piled up alongside the mounting debt. The collection notices had become increasingly threatening, and Mei knew she couldn't delay any longer. She took a deep breath and pushed through the revolving doors. The lobby was all marble and chrome, populated by men and women in tailored suits who moved with purpose and confidence. Mei felt painfully out of place in her simple dress and worn shoes. The receptionist eyed her with thinly veiled suspicion as she approached. "I'm here to see Mr. Zhao," Mei said, her voice steadier than she expected. "Do you have an appointment?" The receptionist's perfectly manicured nails hovered over her keyboard. "No, but it's regarding my father's debt." Lu Wen's restaurant. Recognition flickered across the receptionist's face. "Take a seat. I'll see if Mr. Zhao is available." Mei perched on the edge of a leather chair, too nervous to appreciate its comfort. 15 minutes stretched into 30, and she began to wonder if she'd be dismissed without ever seeing the CEO. Just as she considered leaving, a tall man in a charcoal suit approached. "Ms. Lu? I'm Daniel Zhao. Please follow me." Mei had expected an older man, someone stern and intimidating. But Daniel Zhao couldn't be more than 35, with kind eyes that contradicted his powerful position. She followed him to a private elevator that whisked them to the top floor. His office was surprisingly modest, spacious but not ostentatious. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a breathtaking view of the city, including the neighborhood where her father's restaurant still stood, shuttered and empty. "Please, sit." He gestured to a chair across from his desk. "How is your father?" The question caught her off guard. "You know my father?" Daniel smiled slightly. "I know all my investments. Your father's restaurant was famous for its hand-pulled noodles. I ate there often before." He trailed off. "Before he got sick," Mei finished. "He's stable, but he'll never fully recover." She reached into her purse and pulled out the envelope. "This is all I have. It's not the full amount, but I'll continue to pay monthly until the debt is cleared." Daniel didn't take the envelope. Instead, he leaned back in his chair, studying her face. "Why are you doing this?" "The loan was in your father's name, not yours." "He's my father," she said simply. "His responsibilities are mine now." Something shifted in Daniel's expression. He stood and walked to the window, hands clasped behind his back. "Did you know your father saved my life once?" Mei blinked in surprise. "What?" "I was 12. Some older boys were beating me in the alley behind his restaurant. Your father came out with a cleaver and scared them off. Then he brought me inside, cleaned my cuts, and fed me the best bowl of noodles I'd ever tasted." He turned to face her. "He refused payment. Said good deeds should be repaid forward, not back." Mei felt tears prick her eyes. That sounded exactly like her father. "I never forgot that kindness," Daniel continued. "When I heard about his loan application years later, I approved it personally, though our financial team advised against it." He returned to his desk and pressed a button on his phone. "Grace, bring me the Lu file." Minutes later, his assistant delivered a folder. Daniel opened it, removed several papers, and to Mei's astonishment, began tearing them methodically into pieces. "What are you doing?" she gasped. "Canceling the debt," he said matter-of-factly. "Your father's kindness was worth more than money." The debt is forgiven. May couldn't believe what she was hearing. I can't accept that. It's too much. It's already done. He swept the torn papers into his trash bin. But I do have one condition. Her heart sank. There was always a catch. Have dinner with me, he said. Not as a CEO and a debtor. Just as two people who both loved your father's noodles. The request was so unexpected that May laughed through her tears. That's it? Just dinner? Just dinner, he confirmed with a smile. Though I should warn you, I have terrible table manners. Your father used to scold me for slurping too loudly. For the first time in years, May felt a weight lift from her shoulders. He scolded everyone about that. Said the noodles deserved respect. They did. He was an artist. Daniel checked his watch. Are you free tonight? There's a small place downtown that reminds me of your father's restaurant. That evening, over steaming bowls of noodles that couldn't quite match her father's recipe, May learned more about Daniel Zhao. How he'd grown up poor in the same neighborhood as her family. How he'd worked his way through college and built his company from nothing. How he'd never forgotten where he came from or the people who had shown him kindness along the way. Your father was right about paying kindness forward, he told her. I've tried to live by that principle. Is that why you tore up our debt? She asked. Partly, he admitted. But also because I recognized something in you that reminded me of myself at your age. That determination to honor your commitments, even when they're not technically yours. As weeks passed, their dinners became a regular occurrence. May brought her father's secret recipes, and together they cooked in Daniel's spacious but seldom used kitchen. She told him about her dreams of reopening the restaurant someday, though she lacked the capital to make it happen. On their sixth dinner together, Daniel arrived with a folder of his own. What's this? May asked as he handed it to her. A business proposal. I want to invest in reopening your father's restaurant, with you as the manager and head chef. May stared at him in disbelief. Why would you do that? Because I believe in you, he said simply. And because your father's noodles deserve to be shared with the world again. I can't accept charity, she protested. It's not charity, it's an investment. Read the terms, I expect a return. But more importantly, I expect you to pay it forward someday when you meet someone who needs the same chance. 6 months later, Lou's Noodle House reopened its doors. The line stretched around the block, filled with old customers eager to taste those famous hand-pulled noodles again. In the kitchen, May worked alongside new apprentices, teaching them her father's techniques with the same patience he had once shown her. Daniel came by often, sometimes as an investor checking on his business, but more often as a friend who still slurped his noodles too loudly. And when May's father was well enough to visit the restaurant in his wheelchair, his eyes filled with tears of pride as he watched his daughter continue his legacy. One evening, as they closed up after a particularly busy day, Daniel helped May wipe down the counters. Your father would be proud, he said. Of the restaurant? Of you, he corrected. Of your strength and your heart. May smiled, thinking of how a simple dinner invitation had changed everything. I never thanked you properly, she said. Not just for forgiving the debt or investing in the restaurant, but for reminding me that kindness can change lives. You don't need to thank me, Daniel replied. Just promise me one thing. What's that? When someone stands before you someday, carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders, remember this moment. Remember that sometimes what people need isn't a payment plan, it's a hand reaching out in friendship. May nodded, understanding completely. I promise. As they locked up the restaurant together, May realized that some debts could never be repaid with money, only with love, kindness, and the promise to continue the cycle of compassion that her father had started years ago with a simple bowl of noodles and a refusal to accept payment. If you enjoyed this story of unexpected kindness and second chances, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming stories that remind us of the power of human connection. Sometimes the greatest gifts come when we least expect them, and the most valuable currency isn't money, it's compassion. Share your thoughts in the comments below about a time when someone's kindness changed your life, and join our community of storytellers and dreamers who believe in the power of paying it forward.